work out this homework. Exercise 1-4 says solve systems by elimination. All right, the first one we got here is x minus 2y equals 13. And we got minus x plus y equals 5. This is a great setup because I'm already set up to eliminate x. So if I'm working this one, I'm going to work the first one out, and then I'm probably just going to reveal the rest of them. X minus x is 0, so automatically now I could take 2y plus y, and that's going to give me 3y. And 13 plus 5 is 18. And that means I'll just divide by 3 on both sides to isolate my variable y, which has to equal 6, because 18 divided by 3 is 6. Now that I know what y is, I can plug it right into this problem, right? And remember, negative x plus 6 has to equal 5. Easiest way to solve this is to realize I'm going to subtract. Actually, I'm going to bring this x over here. Because remember, I need to find out what a positive x is. So I'm going to add x to both sides. This is going to leave me with 6 is equal to 5 plus x. Then I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. And this is going to leave me with 1 equals x. So now I've got my coordinates should be x and 6. I'm sorry, I said x. It should have been 1 and 6. Let's hope I did everything right there. Let's see. So 1 and 6. All right, and I'm going to erase the rest of this. And let's see how I did. I'm hoping I didn't make a mistake. All right, so there we go. Just like I said, we get 3y equals 18. We divide 3 away, we get 6. We plug it in. They plug it into the top one just as well. They still got x equals 1. So that'd be 1 and 6. All right, number 2 is for you to do. Oh, looks like this is also being revealed, so I guess I'll erase that out. Let's move on. Next is number 3, and now I'm just going to go ahead and describe everything instead of writing it out, because this is a pretty long homework, and I want to make sure that this isn't a long video to go with it. I have 6y. I also have negative 6y. These will cancel out, which will leave me 5x plus x, which will give me 6x, and then 50 minus 26, which will give me 24. Now, I eliminate the plus 0 because he wants to add 0 to anything. And I got 6x equals 24. I divide 6 away. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Now I'll plug 4 in to my x minus 6y equals negative 26. Since x is 4, I now have 4 minus 6y equals negative 26. I'm going to, they're saying subtract 4 from both sides, and that's because this is a positive 4. And negative 26 minus 4 is a negative 30. Now, if negative 6y equals negative 30, I'll divide negative 6 away from both sides to isolate my variable. And we have that y will equal 5. So my coordinates would be, well, 4 and 5. Right? 4 is for you to do. Next is 5. 5 says I've got negative 3x minus 5y equals negative 7. And negative 4x plus 5y equals 14. Again, I have positive 4y and positive 5y and negative 5y. They'll cancel out, and that's going to leave me with a negative 7x equals, looks like 7, because 14 minus 7 is 7. Now we're going to go ahead and get rid of this plus 0. Now we just have negative 7x equals 7. I'll divide 7 away from both sides, and x will equal negative 1. All right, let's go ahead and plug in x equals negative 1 into our second formula here. Since x is negative 1, now we have negative 4 times negative 1. That makes 4. And 4 plus 5y equals 14. That's easy. I'll subtract 4 from both sides. leaving me with 5y equals 10. I'll divide 5 from both sides, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So my coordinates are -1 and 2. 6 is for you to do. Next is 7. This one looks like it's going to take a little more work because I have my negative y over here and my positive y over here. All I really need to do is take this -10 and see, well, we've got the 6x over here. So what I would do is I would take it and subtract, and I'm just going to do it over here. And I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but I would take -6x over here, which would give me a -6x over here. And then I would add 10 to this side, which would make me add 10 to this side. So when I rewrite this, okay, I would have -6x over this 5x, right? I have my plus, or my negative y over my positive y, and then I would have my positive 10 over my negative 10. All right, so let's just see how they did it. Let's see, they took the negative y, minus 10 equals 6. They minused y, okay, so they're bringing, okay, they didn't do anything to this side. They added, just like I did. They added 10 over here, right, which meant they add 10 over here. Now they have negative y equals 6x plus 10. And then, that looks like they went and did exactly what I did. They minus 6x from both sides. And that let them rewrite the problem, -6x minus y equals 10. And that's exactly what I was saying we would have. Now they can take the first formula. Remember, they took this and they brought it down. They took the second formula, 5x plus y equals 10. Now when they line this up, we're going to be subtracting positive y from negative y, which will give us a 0. Unfortunately, it also means we're going to take 10 and minus 10. That'll also give us a 0. That leaves us with -x plus 0 equals 0. Well, remember, we don't do anything with this plus 0, so that means -x equals 0. If I divide -1 away, 0 divided by -1 is still 0, so x is 0. I'm going to plug in 0 into my formula here, 5x plus y equals -10. 5 times 0 is 0, and that means y has to equal -10. And that's it. The solutions are 0 and -10. Don't be afraid to have 0 for an answer. Number 8 is for you to do. I'm going to go ahead and work on number 9. Number 9 says I've got x plus y equals 2, 2x plus 7y equals 9. Now this time you're going to notice we don't have anything over here, right, to do this. Now I got one or two ways I can do this. I can divide all this by 2, or I could simply just go ahead, this is me, I would multiply everything over here by 2. And this will make an equivalent equation. So now I'm going to get, and I'm just going to bring my work down here, okay? Now I'm going to have 2 times x. In fact, now, what I think I'm going to do is multiply everything to -2. So this will give me a -2x. And then -2 times y will give me a -2y. And that would equal, well, -2 times 2 would be -4. And now I would combine these like terms, right? Because that would eliminate my -2x. And that would leave me with 5y equals, well, 9 minus 4 is 5. Let's see what they did. I'm going to have to erase this to find out. Oh, no, they did it right over here, didn't they? Yes, it looks like they multiplied everything by -2. I'm so glad I'm not that out of practice. That turned this into -2x minus 2y equals -4. That's exactly what I said we'd have over here. All right, now they combined these, and that gave us 7 minus 2 is 5y. 9 minus 4 is 5. We're going to divide 5 away from 5y, and now we've got 5 divided by 5, which is 1. Now we're going to go to the next step. Since I know y is 1, I'm going to replace y in this problem with 1. Now I have x plus 1 equals 2, and everyone knows that 1 plus 1 equals 2. So x equals 1. That gives us the solutions of 1 and 1. 10 is for you to do. Let's go to number 11. On this one, I see that I got 11x minus 20y equals 28. I also have 3x plus 4y equals 36. Now, if this was me, I think I would multiply everything on this bottom by 5, because then I would have a positive 20y over here. Let's see what they did. Look at that. They multiplied by 5, just like I said. 5 times 3x is going to give us 15x. 5 times 4y will give us 20y. 5 times 36 will give us 180. So this was important because right here now I have 20y minus 20y. That gives us 0. But 11x plus 15x gives us 26x. And 28 plus 180 is 208. Now I can get rid of this plus 0, and I just have 26x equals 208. I'm going to go ahead and divide 26 from both sides, and 208 divided by 26 is 8. Now I'm going to plug in 8 into my equation. I'll use the smaller numbers here. If x is 8, now I have 3 times 8, which is 24. And 24 plus y equals 36 is easy to solve. I will combine my like terms on opposite sides by subtracting 24 from both sides, leaving me with 4y equals 12. Then I'll divide by 4, leaving me with 12 divided by 4, and that's 3. So my solution is 8 and 3. Number 12 is for you to do. We're going to go on to number 13. Number 13, I see I have 4x minus 3y equals 8, and I have 5x minus 2y equals negative 11. Now, on this one, I got one of two options. I'm going to go with the least hardest one. I know that I can multiply this top one by 2 to get me a negative 6y, and I can multiply this bottom one by negative 3 to get a positive 6y. And I'm going to demonstrate this one just because I know saying it is a lot easier than doing it. So if I was to do this one, I would multiply everything to 2, right? And that would turn all this to, let's see, I'm guessing 8x, right? Minus 6y is equal to 16. And then I would multiply everything here to negative 3. And here's why I would make it negative. Because though I will have negative 3 times 5, which would give me a negative 15x, I will also have a negative 3 times negative 2, which would give me a positive 6y. And now I have the opposite, right, of negative 6y. So that will get eliminated. And then I could take negative 3 times negative 11. Well, that's going to be a positive 33. And the rest is history because we know once we eliminate this, we're just dealing with x's. Let's see how they solved it. I'm going to erase this, but I think they did exactly what I said. This one multiplied by 2. This one multiplied by negative 3. Look at that. So let's see here. I'll put this eraser just to make sure I'm right. Yep, they multiplied by negative 2 and by negative 3. And that enabled them to go ahead and get the same thing I said that we were going to get. Right now, we've eliminated the 6y. That leaves us with negative 15 plus 8. That's a negative 7. And 16 plus 33, that's 49. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide negative 7 away from negative 7x. And that means on the other side, I'll have to take 49 and divide it by negative 7. And that's going to give me negative 7. Now I'm going to plug in negative 7 into my first equation. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. And now I have negative 28 minus 3y equals 8. I'm combining my like terms on opposite sides, so I'm going to do the opposite of negative 28, which is positive 28. Whatever I do to one side, I do the other. Now my negative 3y comes down, and 8 plus 28 is 36. Now I'm going to divide negative 3 away from both sides, and 36 divided by negative 3 is negative 12. So my solution is negative 7, negative 12. You have number 14 to do. Number 15, I've got 9x plus 2y equals 39. I have 6x plus 13y equals negative 9. I would never try to deal with odd numbers. I always seem to want to pick, well, when one is even and one is odd, I always seem to want to go with the odd ones here. But you could go ahead and multiply this to negative 13 and multiply this to a positive 2, right? Or you could go ahead and say, well, I know that 6 and 9 will both factor into 18. So if I wanted to, I could simply multiply this system by 2, and then I could multiply this to negative 3. Let's see what they did. They went a different route. They used 4 and negative 6. And I don't know why they went with such big numbers, but I'm not sure I agree, because if I would have used, yeah, they still got rid of their x's, and that's weird to me, because I think it would have been easier to multiply this by 2 and got 18, and then multiply this to negative 3 and got, and then I would have gotten negative 18. But they went the route of 4 and negative 6, which shows you there's a variety of ways to do this with elimination. They've got their new numbers, 36x plus 4 or 8y equals 156. Wow, what huge numbers. And negative 36x minus 78y equals 54. Now, these are eliminated because 36x minus 36 is going to be 0. And that leaves us with negative 70y equals 210. I'm going to divide negative 70 away, and that's going to give me a negative 3 for y. I'm going to plug in negative 3 into my first system here, and that's going to give me 9x plus 2 times negative 3, that's negative 6, and that equals 39. I'm going to add 6 to both sides to combine my like terms on opposite sides. That'll give me negative 9 equals, 9x equals 45. Then I'll divide 9 away from both sides, and that'll give me 5 for an answer. 45 divided by 9 is 5. So my system solution set will be 5 and negative 3. 16 is yours to do. 17 it says a service center charges a fee of X dollars for an oil change plus Y dollars per quart for oil used. Customer A receives 5 quarts of oil and pays a total of $37.45. Customer B receives 7 quarts of oil and pays a total of $46.45. Find the fee and the cost per quart of oil. All right. If I do this, I see that I have system X, and they're saying, let's see, this one would be the customer A receives 5 quarts of oil and pays a total of $37.45, right? And remember, they said there's a service charge. The service center charges a fee of X dollars, so that's the X there. We don't know what the fee is, but they are charging the oil, which is 5 oils that he used, right? And then the second one is 7 quarts, so that's 7Y, and the same fee, but this one time it's going to cost $46.45. So now let's go ahead and look at these. I've got X and X, so I can eliminate my X's by simply going ahead and using the inverse here. And they don't really show that, so I'm going to. What they did is they took the second set and they multiplied it to a negative. You might say negative 1, it doesn't matter. Negative X times X would be a negative X. Then this would be a negative 7Y, and this would be a negative 45. Now we have X minus X, that's 0. They have negative 7 plus 5, that's negative 2Y. And they have negative 46.45 plus 37.45, which gives you a negative 9. Now we're going to take this negative 2y equals negative 9. We're going to divide negative 2 away, and now that's going to give us negative divided by negative is a positive, and this is 4.5. So now we're going to take 4.5 and put it into one of our formulas. Looks like they chose the first one here. And now we have X plus 5 times 4.5. That 4.5 tells me that's the cost of oil, right? The quart of oil. And when we multiply 5 times 4.5, we get 22.5. So x plus 22.5 equals 37.45. I'm going to subtract 22.50 from each side. This is going to give me x equals 14.95. So now that I know what the quart of oil is, the quart of oils also revealed the service charge, didn't it? Because X is $14.75. So the fee is $14.95. Excuse me, I didn't say that correctly before. 95 cents. And the cost per oil is $4.50. All right. Let's move on. I believe you have number 18. I'm going to leave that for you, and we're going to go to number 19. Number 19 says, describe and correct the error in solving one of the variables in the linear system. So right here, they put 5x minus 7y equals 16. That's what they got here. They got x plus 7y equals 8. So far, they wrote everything correctly. And they said that 5x, okay, well, because we have 7y and negative 7y, they're already eliminated. We didn't have to turn this into a negative. So really, 5x plus x should have been 6x. And our answer would have been 4 then. So as you can see here, yes, 5x plus x was 6x. When we divide 6 away from 24, 24 divided by 6 would have gave us x is 4. So the x term should have been added, not subtracted. All right, let's see. Looks like I got number 21. The 20 we decided not to do. It says, explain your method. So this time we're going to explain what method we would use. Over here, we're going to have to rewrite this. But if I'm going to do this, I would use substitution because it already tells me what 2y is, right? So I can replace 2y with 8 minus 5x. Let's see if that's what they did. Yeah, they took 8y. No, they decided to divide by 2. Wow, that was a strong move. And I'm just going to go back here and demonstrate this a different way because I don't like the way they did it. If 2y already equals this, I would have rewrote this top problem to say 3x plus 8 minus 5x. And if you can tell, remember, this, they said that's 2y, so I'm just replacing 2y with it, right? And that equals 4. And now I can say that I have, well, let's see. If I put this all together, I don't even need the parentheses, do I? So I'm going to erase these parentheses. Now, if this was a negative sign, I would have needed it, so I could have took that negative sign and distributed it throughout everything. But I didn't need that, so come over here and get my pen back. And now I'm going to say, well, I'm going to combine my like terms, negative 5x, right? And 3x gives me a negative 2x. So negative 2x plus 8 is equal to 4. And then I would subtract 8 from both sides. This would have given me negative 2x is equal to negative 4. I would have divided by negative 2. And that would have gave me x is equal to 2. And that seems a lot easier using substitution. And then I would have replaced, and I'm just going to put my answer up here. X is 2 in my coordinates. And then I would have plugged in probably 2 to x right over here. And that would have gave me 3 times 2, which is 6. And then I have 6 plus 2y equals 4. I would have subtracted 6 from both sides. And that would have left me with, let's see, 2y. And I'm just working up instead of down, is equal to, if I subtracted 6 from both sides, that would be a negative 2. And then I would have had negative 2 divided by 2, and y would have ended up equaling, well, negative 1. So I'm going with 2 and -1 for my answers. Let's see how that would have worked out for me. So over here, let's see, y was a -1 and x was 2. Look at that. It seems like a lot easier than what they did, but what they did was they took the first one, right? This 2y, or the second one, 2y plus 8 equals 5x. They divided everything by 2. That left them with y equals 4 minus 5 over 2x. This is a nightmare. Now they're going to replace y in the second problem, 3x plus 2y equals 4. They're going to replace y with 4 minus 5 over 2x. Now they're going to take 2 times 4, that gives them 8, and -2 times 5 over 2x, that would have given them, well, 5x. Yeah, -5x. So now we're going to go ahead and, let's see, we're going to take my -3x and combine it with my my 3x and combine it with my -5x to give us -2x. The 8 comes down, the 4 comes down. I would have subtracted 8 from both sides, and this would have gave me -2 equals -4. That's look familiar? Somewhere up here, I remember that, right? And then I would have -2x equals -4. I would have had to divide -2 away. -4 divided by 2, as I said over here, would give me x equals 2. Then I would have plugged it in to my other one. 2 equals 8 minus 5. That's exactly the one I used. And it would have worked out just like I did up here. 2x equals -1. And as you can see, our answers match. Mine seem like a lot less work than this. 22 is yours to do. 23, I'm going to try to work through this quickly. It says solve, explain your choice. Because I have a y here, I would definitely have used elimination. I would have multiplied everything down here to a -1, and that would have gave me a -y. All right, and I'm not sure how they're doing this, but they're saying that they're, let's see. Okay, this looks like what they did here is, I see the 1/4 plus, oh, I see. Since y equals this, and they took this y from here, and they put it -1/4x plus 7. They replaced it, okay, with this one. And then that is going to equal x, or negative, sorry, not equal. That minus x will equal 2. So all they did was take this and replace this y with it. All right, now we're going to go ahead and, by the looks of it, they're going to multiply everything to 4. And that's going to go ahead and change these numbers a lot. And they're saying that if they multiply everything by 4, well, 4 times -1/4 is going to give us -x. 4 times 7 will give us 28. 4 times -x will give us -4x. And 4 times 2 will give us 8. From there, we're combining like terms, -4 and -x, -4x and -x gives -5x. And then the plus 28 comes down, the 8 comes down. Then I'll subtract 28 from both sides, leaving with -5x equals -20. Then I'll divide -5 away from both sides. And this would have gave me a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. Over here, they went ahead and they took y, and they, let's see, they minus 1/4, or they're replacing, they're using the formula here and replacing x with 4. So -1/4 times 4 is -1, and 7 minus 1 is 6. I might have went a different route with it, but for the sake of making this video not too long, I'm going to leave this here, and we'll discuss the other route in class if you want to hear. 24 is yours to do. 25, it says solve it, explain your choice. I went ahead and I would have used elimination here. I would have multiplied this whole top one to -2, which would have made this a -6x, right? And let's see what they did. Yep, they multiplied it by 2, and then they were able to go ahead and get rid of this. I think I would have multiplied it by -2, and that way everything would have already been the opposite. And I would have had plus 4 here, because let's see what they did here. They multiplied everything by 2, and yeah, they ended up having to, I'm not crazy about the way that, oh, I see what they did here. They put the negative on this one. All right, that makes a little more sense. I was getting a little bewildered there. They took this and multiplied it by a -1, which changed all the symbols. So this was a -0.6, right, which got rid of this. This becomes a -1.3, and negative make a bigger negative, right? And we're not multiplying, we're adding here. And that's a -1.7y. And then this would have been a negative. So we would have added these to get -5.1. And that's how they got that. All right. Next, once they've got -7 or 1.7 equals -5.1, they realized that they had to divide -1.7 away from both sides. And -5.1 divided by -1.7 is 3. Now they're going to plug in y into their first problem, and 0.2 times 3 is going to give us a -0.2 times 3 gives a -0.6. So now we're going to combine like terms. We're going to add 0.6 to both sides. This will give us 0.3x equals -1.5. Then I will divide 0.3 away from both, and -1.5 divided by 0.3 will give us -5 for x. All right, number 26 is yours to do. 29, I think this is the last one. Which of the following approaches results in the equation of one variable? Select all that applies, explain your reasoning. All right, add the equations. If I add these equations, will I get one variable? I don't think so, because if I do, this is going to give me a 2x. This one's going to give me a -2y, and right? So adding these really won't work here. Multiply equations 2 and 3, or equation 2 by 3, and that would give me a -3x here. That would eliminate my x, right? And subtract the equations. I like method B. Let's go with that. How about method C? Multiply equation 1 by 2. Okay, if I multiply this by 2, this is just going to give me a 6x. That's not really going to work, but it will also give me a positive 2y. That will work, because 2y minus 2y will eliminate the y's. So C is also going to work just fine. D, solve equation 1 for y. Let's see, they want me to solve for y and substitute the result for it. So in other words, they want me to take 3x and put it over here. All right. Let's see. That would give me y equals -3x plus 7. And then they want me to replace y with -3x plus 7. Can it be done? Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. So which results in equation up to one variable. I really could do B, C, or D. I don't know how they're going to answer this, but let's find out. They're saying C and D. Why didn't B work? I'm just curious, and I'm going to go ahead and check this out really quick just to make sure they were correct. Now they're saying multiply equation 2 right here by 3 and then subtract. Let's find out what's going on. Oh, I see what was wrong with that. Yes, if I multiply all this by 3, all right, I will get -3x. And then I will get a positive 6y. And I will even get, let's see, I believe this is going to be a 48. But it said subtract afterwards, and that's something I'm receiving. Because I'm not going to subtract them, then I'm going to add these, right? So that's why I went wrong there. C and D are the only correct answers. I would love to sit here and argue with it, but if they had put add here, that could have been right. I didn't look closely enough at the instruction there. So C and D were the only right answers. Whew. All right, I think that was the last one, and we'll grade in class. Have a great night.